Coach Nuss.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I tell you what, been a great week. Can't thank the Citrus Bowl enough for just the outstanding accommodations and the people of Orlando, how we've been embraced. Our kids are just having a wonderful time. Thank Dr. Phillips High School for giving us the opportunity to work there. And it's just great when you get an opportunity to see your team this late in the season practice and get better every day and watch the guys fly around and see the excitement to play in this type of bowl game. Our kids are very, very excited, and we're just blessed and feel fortunate to be here to represent the University of Florida.
Yeah, to echo Doug's statements, it's been a great environment. This is my first time playing in the Citrus Bowl, so I'm excited about it. Great opportunity. It's been a great time spending time with our kids, our players, at the amusement parks and different activities that we've done around the hotel. And getting the young guys a lot of work for the first 2 weeks of bowl prep has been invaluable to get ready also for next season. And some of the guys that get redshirted to see how they've developed during the season and where we can kind of place them going forward. But just excited. Another chance, not an opportunity to play on New Year's Day, and couldn't be more blessed.
All right, it's time to open it up to Q&A. If you could please find something on the microphone. We are doing full transcripts of today's news conference. You can ask either student athletes or the coaches.
Yeah, Geoff, can you talk about coming into a situation where the defense had been so good for so long
Sure.
and trying to keep it going in the right direction, how you guys meshed? And John, can you also talk about that, having a new coordinator come in and how well you guys are able to mesh?
Sure. Well, the first thing, obviously we knew coming in, we inherited a great group of defensive players. And in our first unit meeting that we had, when you're playing at such a high level and an elite level on defense, it's our job. We can't change everything, and nor did we want to. But how do we find an extra 10% improvement, situational football, turnover, sudden change, whatever it may be, sacks, whatever that may be, and how can we improve those little things that can take us to the championship level? And, to these guys' credit, they bought in. We said that, we chose you. John didn't necessarily choose us, but the way their mindset was, the way their attitude was, you saw that improvement across the board and, kept us as an elite defense. And just to brag on John real quick before we move on, John Bullard is the poster child for the guy, how you handle a situation like this, how you handle a transition. Also being a premier player last year, his junior year, I'm sure he wrestled with the decision to come back or to leave, but the things that he did in the offseason, the things that he did throughout the year to make himself one of the best players in college football, tackles for loss, sacks, just the impact that he had on every game. You don't see guys do that a lot, and I just think that's a credit to him, his character, his work ethic, and I think what he has done has made our defense what it has been this year. So,
I think they did a good job of coming in right away and kind of, working around us in a sense of not changing a lot. I mean, we added a few extra things or maybe terminology that's a little different, but we was already a pretty good defense, so I think he did a good job of coming in and just keeping everybody comfortable right away, not coming in trying to break us or make a lot of changes or different things in general. So I think that's a big thing that helped us become so tight so fast was because of the way they came in and the way that they wanted to do things. I think a lot of coaches come in and think, oh, we got to break this guy, or a big names like me or at the time come in, or he try to show that they got power, and they didn't do that. They got everybody to buy in, and I bought in early so that I can get some of the young guys to do it, and I think that's where our success came from.
Coach Nussmeier, and maybe Jake a little bit too. Right here. Hey, what kind of answers do you think you've maybe found here during this past few weeks on the offensive side of the ball, and maybe what do you attribute some of the struggles late in the season to?
We're very young. You can't say enough about Jake when you talk about the difference in the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball, and can't say enough about how our team plays as a team and how the defensive players have really the veteran leadership that we have on that side of the ball. We don't have nearly as many on offense, and those guys have embraced our side of the ball too. And you watch the way that guys like Jonathan and Jake and our veteran players, how they prepare, how they practice. It's meant a lot to our younger players. And, the thing that we found over the last half of the season is we've got a lot of growth. We need to grow. And a lot of young guys are playing. And we're expecting a lot from our older players like Jake to bring those guys along. And then it's a learning curve. Every day is new. And, the biggest thing is we've got to improve every day. And days we have, days we haven't. And that's, the thing is to find consistency in performance and continue to improve each day.
What did you say?
Yeah, really just the practices where we weren't really there. You saw where we were watching from outside or on the other field. You really saw what the next sort of future is capable of, and you see new leadership step up, and it's something that it's nice to set sort of like the blueprint for what they're able to do, and sort of for myself took it as a big role to I want to try to show the ropes of the right way to lead an offense, the right way to sort of bring guys with you, and hopefully I was able to leave an impression on guys to sort of take into the future.
And Doug, one more. What's the dynamic going to be like for you in this game, given you were on the other sideline, so to speak, a season ago?
Well, I've got a lot of respect, obviously, for their program and their players. I love those kids in that locker room. Obviously, I want Florida to win this game, and I'm on Florida's team, and I love our players, and I'm excited about the opportunity. But there's a lot of great kids in their locker room, and looking forward to competing against that defense that we competed against every day in practice last year, and getting an opportunity to play against them in a game.
Is it a little odd, though?
Not really.
It's part of the profession.
That's football, and I think the players see it too. They play with guys in high school. I think there's, you look across the depth charts of teams. There's kids from Florida on Michigan team. There's kids from Michigan on Florida's team. A lot of these guys have played against each other, with each other in high school. And I think the more and more you see the all-star games and those type of things, you're going to see kids that played with or against each other in high school. They get opportunities to play against each other at the next level. And I just think it's great. It's a great opportunity to play against people you know.
Along those same lines, when you look at Michigan's D, Coach, when you look at Michigan's D compared to what you saw last year, where do you see the improvement? And even with individual players, have you seen improvement on film?
Well, obviously, their numbers speak for themselves. They're an outstanding defense. They're top 5 in about every major category. And great thing about us when we practice is we get to practice against our defense, so that helps to prepare us. But the thing you see is they're playing extremely hard, obviously. And doing a great job on third down, getting off the field, and they get off the field, and they do a good job of putting, pressure on you up front from the different fronts they present to you, and they move around a little bit, and their front four is really getting after it. They're a really good defense, Joe, and he's got a lot of starts inside. He's, the guy that gets him lined up, knows what's going on, and so, they're a really good defense.
This is for Jake. Virginia bowl games were kind of uncharted territory, and now you're here at Florida. You're in a bowl game. You came back the extra year. When you look back at it, coming back the extra year, how much was it worth it to be able to have that extra year and to have the experience that you never had when you were at Virginia?
Yeah, this just for personal development-wise, this year has been really a big thing for me, just recovering from the injury and being in an offense that really fits what I can do and sort of what my strengths are as a player. It's really asked me to do a lot, and I really think I was able to improve a lot as a player for coming back off of what happened, and it was something that I really think I was able to continue to grow my game and really step up at other parts, sort of being at a new school and taking a leadership role and just sort of improving all the small things and just trying to become the best player I can.
This is for Doug over here. Just so happens, and I guess it's ironic, you're going to call plays against Greg Madison after coaching with him last year. Did you develop much of a relationship with Greg last year at all, or do you guys stay in touch at all now?
We do, and obviously got a lot of respect for Greg. Outstanding football coach, and obviously you look at the success of the defense. Obviously he's played a big role in that, and obviously he'll have a little familiarity with me, and I will with him. So looking forward to it.
This is for Doug and Jake. You mentioned the inexperience of the offense a little bit, the youth there. Is it a little added importance in getting an early start now with some of those inexperienced guys and get the motor going in the second quarter before halftime?
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I think you really, at this point, I don't think guys have had a full season. So it's at the point where if you're in there, you need to be ready to go and sort of step up from the beginning. I think everybody's mindset is to come out fast on whatever team you're on, and it shouldn't really matter if, for me in year 6 or a guy that's in year 1, you need to be ready to go if you're on the field.
This question's for Doug.
You
The
said
way
Jeff,
things
right?
ended. Pardon?
You said Jeff, right?
No, Doug. I said you, Doug. The way things ended at Michigan and your departure, were you surprised at the opportunity that you had to go back to the SEC and how quickly you landed on your feet? And how did that unfold?
I didn't know I got knocked down first. I had a great time in Michigan. Obviously, the season didn't go the way we wanted to, but that's football, and when you're around this business long enough and you see the ups and downs and the ins and outs, you live day to day and you focus on each snap, each drive, each quarter, and obviously I'm very, very excited to be a part of the Florida Gators and looking forward to the game.
This one is for Coach Collins. Coach Collins, you guys have been done a really good job all year limiting tight ends. How are you guys going to try to game plan against Jake Butt?
Yeah, the kid's a great player, and we're watching tape. He kind of reminds us of Jake McGee. Big, physical, athletic kid, great route runner, big target for him on third downs and in the red zone. I think they've scored like 46 of 49 trips into the red zone, which in and of itself is very impressive. A really good player, and we've seen some guys playing in this league. You're going to see talented tight ends, and the kid creates a kind of a matchup issue. Is he too big for a safety to play on him? Is he too fast for certain linebackers to play on him? So you have to make decisions, against a kid like that, kind of like teams have to do when they're playing against Jake. But he's an impressive kid. The quarterback has done a great job, especially the second half of the season. I think he's completing, like 70% of his balls. So we're well versed in how talented and how balanced this offense is. And the tight end, obviously is the big start for that.
Wanted to ask each of you about Coach McElwain. Obviously, we've got to hear from the players all year about what it's like to play for him. What's it like for you guys to coach with him? I'll start with you, Jeff. You were his first hire. What did that mean to you to kind of him to put that faith in you and you be able to work that defense for him this season?
Absolutely. I can't say enough about him. I aspire one day to be a head coach. Sooner or later, doesn't really matter. But every single day that I come to work and get to work for and learn from a man like Jim McElwain, it's awesome. The way he handles the players, the way he handles situations, ups, downs, highs and lows, whatever it is. But my favorite thing about him is he's a real guy. He's a great head football coach. He knows what he's doing offensively, defensively, special teams. But the way he manages people, the way he interacts with our players, the staff, the grounds crew, whoever it is, he's him. And, I think that's one of the biggest lessons for me. I've been fortunate to be around some great head coaches in my career. But the little intricacies that Jim McElwain brings personality-wise and explaining the why to our players. Not just you do this because I told you to do this. Here is why we are doing this today. Here's why this schedule has changed. Here's why the why makes everybody feel at ease and know there's a reason for the things that we do. And I just think day in and day out getting to learn from a head coach like that, is going to carry me through my career. And I think it's impacting our kids' lives, our coaches' families' lives, all those things. So I can't say enough. That's a great question. Thank you.
I think just to reiterate what Jeff said, what he said, but it's the environment he creates, the structure, the focus, and the ability to bring people from all unique different backgrounds together to focus on one common goal. I think he does an exceptional job of that.
This is for both Doug and for Jeff. You guys, some of you had worked together before. I'm talking about the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, the assistants. Some of you had worked together before. Some of you it was the first time you really had crossed paths. Was there kind of a defining moment when you realized, hey, I got a pretty good staff here. These are good guys to work with. I mean, was there kind of a moment like that you realized that, that you really had put together a good staff here?
Well, actually, Doug and I got to be fairly close. Never worked together before. When he was the offense coordinator at Alabama, I was the defense coordinator at Mississippi State. there were some battles, that we had. Unfortunately, they came out on top, the times we played. But the mutual respect that you gain for competing and going against someone schematically, how they move pieces around of the puzzle to create matchups like they do with, Jake, obviously. So then you get to be in there day to day with them. And the biggest thing, the common thread, going back to Coach McElwain, the common thread that you'll find amongst our staff, whether it be administrative role or coaching staff role, they're good people. They care about each other. They don't have any hidden agendas. We're all on the same team. I think you watch us, if there is, let's say there is a turnover, our offense creates, gives up turnover. Our guys love our offensive players so much, they love Coach Nuss and the offensive staff so much. Put the ball down and let's play. Whatever situation we're put in, it's our job to give them the ball back because we know they're going to do something special with it. And when we went through spring and the summer and you start, forming those bonds, I think it's special, in the season that we, ended up having last year, or this year, excuse me, the season we had this year, and continuing forward is because we're close in the relationships that we do have.
Yeah, I think it, some of the coaches you've worked with before, we both have worked with guys in the defensive room or offensive room, and then, like you say, you cross paths. This isn't a large profession, so to say, and you cross a lot of paths and you meet people, and you can get a feel real quickly as a staff guard starts to get assembled on what type of staff it is and what type of people are involved. And I think that's why we have such a strong staff. There was a lot of guys that were interested in being part of that common, goal and that group.
Jonathan, let's hear from you. This game sold out in 24 hours. There will be a lot of orange, and I'll call it gator blue, in the stands tomorrow or Friday. When you're wearing those colors and you see those colors when you come out, what does that do to get you and your teammates ready?
It means a lot for them for that to happen so fast. I love Florida. It was a school that I've always been interested in ever since I was younger and thought I was going to play basketball instead of football. But just running out there and seeing the fans and, most of all, seeing my parents come from North Carolina and my family is big for me. This was my last season, and my mom missed some games a couple years ago. She working or whatever, but this year, she did whatever she had to do to be able to come to my games. And I think, just knowing that she's out there somewhere, because I usually can't find her, but that means a lot, and just the support we get from the Florida and running out. And I know it's going to be like a home game for us tomorrow, and this will be my last home one.
For both players. John, have you had any time to reflect on your decision to come back, this week as you've had some time to prepare for this game, and what do you think it would mean to run out one more time?
I think it was the best decision I've made in my life. Last year I thought about coming out with the coaching change, and, you hear things about how that's going to be, and, you have to learn new things, but, I buckled down, my family made a decision to come back, and I think it was a great decision. I'm playing the best ball that I've played since I've been here. They've put me in good positions to make plays and be the guy to step up when needed to. So, it's going to be real special to run out with the team one more time.
Your last game, or have you found a loophole for a seventh year?
No, I think this is it for me. But the thing that's really meant the most to me is just coming in, transferring in, the way that I was embraced and the way that the guys sort of took me in. And it feels like John, Trip Thurman, Antonio Morrison, I've been with them for really the whole time. So that's something that speaks to the culture that's here. And it really is a family environment when you are able to show that you belong and that you have their best interests as well. So that's really been probably the most memorable thing for me.
Geoff, right here. Hey, I know you coming into the season, the goal was to be the best defense in the nation. You guys certainly made a claim to maybe being that. What has been kind of the common thread of this unit that's kind of let it elevate itself to this level?
Sure. I said it earlier, it all starts with the players. The thing that I tell them almost before every game, we're going to make some good calls, we're going to make some bad calls. But the magic is in our players. The magic is how fast they run to the ball, the attitude they have when they take the field, all those kind of things. And I think the impressive thing about them is that when they're playing as one. And I think Kirk Herbstreit gave out an award, or each week he gives out an individual award. And one of the biggest compliments all season was when he gave an award, an individual award, to Florida's defense. I thought that was the biggest compliment you can have, because our guys, led by John, play as one. They take the field together, they get the call together, they communicate with each other, and then they fly around, make plays, try to get the ball out. If they're in third down, they understand that it's a money down situation. We got to get off the field. I think John and them are leading the country in sacks on third down. You know, those are the things that are impressive, is how they play as one. Whatever happens, injuries throughout the season, whoever's in the game, they understand John and Antonio and Poole and those guys have set a standard in our room. They set a standard. This is how you're going to play defense at the University of Florida. Whoever's in the game, that's what you're going to do. And I think it carries over, you know, with those guys. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why our group has played so well, you know, most of the season.
And John, first off, Jake, I don't think was buying your basketball skills down here. He was rolling his eyes a bit here. But yeah, so best defense in the nation. Michigan yesterday was saying it wants to come out and show it's a better defense too. I mean, you guys are both like top 5 units.
Yeah.
Do you take that as kind of even a little bit more of a challenge coming in this game? And
not really. I mean, we're just gonna go out and show tomorrow what we can do. I mean, if that's how they feel, that's how they're supposed to feel, being a competitor, because we feel the same way. But I mean, it's really more about going out and showing it and not really talking about it. I mean, that's a goal within us, but you know, we don't really go out, you know, talking about it much. But you know, we're gonna show tomorrow or whenever the game is, we're gonna show that, you know, we are the best.
John, can you talk about, you know, you were talking about keeping things similar, but the one thing that was different was the money downs. And the first time you saw those guys jumping around with that sign, I'm just curious what your thoughts were.
Yeah, it definitely brings excitement to it. It was something he changed a little bit that I liked a lot. It was one of the biggest things, you know, to get the guys going. And when you're in the swamp and the music comes on, you know, we got a lot of guys that like to dance. I'm not really a dancer, but, you know, you get a rhythm going and it plays, and, you know, you got all your teammates and the guys who's not playing, the walk-ons or the backups on the sideline cheering us on just like they're out there. And, you know, that means a lot. And to look on the side and see a money down, that's a team goal, but that's also something that reminds you right then and there to give it your all, because you're always on film. And, you know, we all play this game to get to the next level. And, you know, third down is a big way of, you know, if you can be a good pass rusher, get to the quarterback or cause havoc, you know, that's going to help you in the long run to get the money sign of what he got. And I think, you know, that's a little way that he threw out there of a kind of self goal. You know, it's a team goal, but also a self individual, that everybody out there sees that money sign. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to go get in the next level.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and good luck on game day.